Hello and welcome to my channel. Now, today I'm going to be discussing my tips for any beginner. And so let's get into it. So my first of all tip for any beginner is number one, is just become so invested in working out. When I started working out 3 years ago, consistently, I started working out before that, but I got very into working out. And when I say very into, I mean I was very into it. I went from 230 pounds to 165 pounds in about 2 or 3 months. And I'm being serious. I was doing cardio on the treadmill for 3 hours a day because I had this one setting which I really liked, which would burn about 3,000 calories in 3 hours. Then I would also do boxing and I would also do swimming. I would do cardio for about 5 hours probably each day, every single day for about 2 months. It was in the summer, so I had a lot more time. And also working out, just purely muscles. And that was also an hour and a half or 2 hours. And so I want you to have that sort of zone in on working out. You want it to be your main focus. Because if you do that, you are going to make it your routine very easily. Because you're gonna love it. You're gonna very much love it. Watch videos on it. Watch whoever. Just become so into it that you're just gonna love doing it. And then, so on the days that you maybe don't want to do it, you already have that routine set. And the days that you're not going to want to do it are going to be months later, and you're already going to have that sort of routine set. So you're not going to have to worry too much. Before we get any further, I want to talk about something else. So it might not look like right now I'm the most fit as myself, but that's just because for the past few months I've been bulking, and also this summer I kind of let myself go a bit because I was trying to have fun during summer, and it's not really fun to count calories, and so I didn't really care too much. But now I'm cutting, so trust me when I say this. I've been doing this for 3 years. Now, my second piece of advice is if you do not have a gym, it's okay. Do something called calisthenics. It's bodyweight exercises, and you mainly do push-ups, pull-ups, and that sort of thing. It's incredible, and it actually does work. It works perfectly well. You will build muscle, you will build strength, you will get lean, you will get big if you want that. If your main goal though is to just gain strength and you don't really care too much about, your body, if you're fat or something, then go to the gym if you have access to it. But if you don't have access to a gym, that's really all you have is calisthenics. But if you're just going in it for strength, don't care if you gain tons of weight, because calisthenics, it's great. It's all based on body weight, and so you also have to be lean, but you also have to have a ton of muscle. So it's a perfect case of sort of muscle per pound of weight. Now, another thing I like about calisthenics is it's just yourself. You can do this at your house. You can do this all by yourself. Instead of you first starting out, you're going to an actual gym and you're being a bit afraid of people making fun of you or something like that. Because maybe you're afraid that you can't do so much weight. Maybe you can't bench press so much weight. Maybe you can only do the bar, or maybe you're afraid people might think you're fat, and maybe all that sort of social anxiety. You don't get that with calisthenics. This is why I very much think beginners should start with calisthenics, which is what I did. And it's perfect because it's all by yourself, and you don't have to worry about the social environment of a gym. You know what? Let's move environment because this is getting a bit stale, so yeah. Now, my next piece of advice for any beginner is, of course, to eat correctly. Now, it might not be tracking calories. You can always track your calories. But it also means eating more healthy, eating more meat, eating more protein, making sure you're getting the right sort of food. Maybe you want more vegetables. Start eating more vegetables. It doesn't exactly mean counting calories, but it does usually mean eating less processed food. Because processed food messes up your entire bio-environment. Now, another piece of helpful advice for any beginner, which I think most beginners should know, is you're not gonna see instant results. It's not like a video game. It's not like if you level up, you're gonna get a bunch of strength or something like that, where if you do some sort of puzzle, you're gonna get a bunch of money. It's not gonna be like that. Video games has messed up your mind. You need to understand, this is something that will take weeks to end up seeing results. So instead of being worried that you're not doing it correctly, just keep on doing your best, and in the end, it will end up working as long as you keep doing it. Now, my next piece of advice is actually an equipment advice. For any new beginner, I'd say I'd recommend 1, maybe 2 pieces of equipment. And these aren't expensive, and these are resistance bands, and I'd say gymnastic rings. But resistance bands is particularly great whether you're doing calisthenics or whatever. Resistance bands allow you to help do whatever exercise or make exercises harder. For example, you can make push-ups harder, but you could also make pull-ups easier. So maybe you can't do a pull-up. If you get a resistance band, maybe you could do like 5. With these resistance bands, you're going to build up the strength to be able to do normal pull-ups without these things. But they are still useful if you do not have a way to gain the strength to be able to do these pull-ups or whatever. Now about the gymnastics rings. So maybe you want to do pull-ups, but you don't have anywhere to go. Maybe you don't have a playground nearby where you can do pull-ups on the monkey bars. Well, that's where gymnastics rings come in, because they're perfect. You can do pull-ups, you can do bodyweight rows, you can do Australian pull-ups, you can do dips with them. They're perfect, they're versatile, that you can use them for many different things, and you just hook them up to a tree. There are trees, hopefully, where you are, everywhere. And if you don't have a tree everywhere, that means you're probably in a city and probably near a park. And I'd say a park is probably the better option because they have a playground. You can set this up on some monkey bars and do your pull-ups. Now, for a beginner, something that can very much help you in the future is working on trying to naturally increase your testosterone. And that means maybe eating less processed foods, which I talked about earlier. So less plastic in your body, which will cause less chaos inside your hormones and everything. Having like raw honey helps with make more testosterone. And so you basically want to figure out as many ways that you can create testosterone naturally. This will help your muscle building process. And basically a great way to help you give a boost, sort of like a steroid boost when you're working out, but naturally. It's not going to be as much as a steroid, but it's at least something. It helps you grow muscle. Now my final tip is to just go to the gym.